Hi, I'm Pam, married to my husband Will. We met at a friend's party and instantly hit it off. He had a warm smile and a way of making me feel special. We started talking and realized we had so much in common. We spent time getting to know each other, going on fun dates and sharing laughter. Will had a goofy sense of humor that always made me giggle. We enjoyed going to the movies, long walks in the park, and having a lot of intellectual conversations. As our relationship blossomed, we became each other's best friends. We supported one another through the ups and downs. Will was always there to lend me a listening ear and offer me words of encouragement. And so, with love in our hearts and a promise to support and care for each other, we decided to take the next step and get married. It was a beautiful day filled with laughter and tears of joy in the presence of our loved ones. Fast forward to 8 months ago when we received the joyous news that we were expecting our first child. The anticipation of becoming parents consumed us with overwhelming happiness that overshadowed an underlying fear. Babe, can you believe it? We're going to be parents. I can't even put into words how happy I am right now. I know, darling, it's incredible. I've been imagining what it would be like to hold our baby in my arms, to see their little face for the first time. It's a dream come true. Absolutely, but I can't help feeling a bit scared too. We're about to embark on this incredible journey, and there's so much we don't know. What if we mess up? What if we're not ready? I get it. It's normal to have some fears and doubts, especially when it comes to such a big responsibility. But remember, we're not alone in this. We have each other and we have our families who will support us every step of the way. You're right. We're a team. And I know we'll figure it out together. It's just that the thought of being responsible for another life is both thrilling and overwhelming. I feel the same way, but let's focus on the joy and excitement that comes with this new chapter. We'll learn as we go and we'll do everything we can to give our child the love and care they deserve. You always know just what to say. I'm so grateful to have you by my side. With you as the father of our child, I know we'll create a beautiful, loving family. And I'm grateful for you too, darling. We're going to be amazing parents. I have no doubt about that. One night, while Will was sleeping, he said something that shocked me. You see, he sometimes talked in his sleep, saying funny and harmless things, but that night, he revealed something that left me speechless. He said he wanted to leave me right after our baby was born, before our family could even start. After that night, I noticed that Will kept repeating the same thing in his sleep. It was like a broken record playing over and over again. He would say, "I can't do this. I have to go." At first, I hoped it was just a bad dream or his worries about becoming a dad. But as the nights passed, it became clear that something was bothering him deep inside. His sleep talking made me worry and wonder about our future. I couldn't keep quiet about it anymore. I needed to talk to Will and find out what was going on. Babe, can we talk? I've noticed that something feels different between us lately. Is everything okay? Yeah, everything's fine, darling. I've just been a bit busy with work and all. You know how it gets sometimes. I understand that work can be demanding, but it feels like there's more to it. You seem distant, and I miss the connection we used to have. Is there something you're not telling me? No, really, there's nothing. I'm just dealing with some stuff. But it's nothing you need to worry about. Trust me, everything's fine. Babe, I'm your wife. We're in this together. When you're struggling or going through something, I want to be there for you. Please don't shut me out. I can sense that something's bothering you, and I just want to help. I appreciate your concern, but I assure you there's nothing for you to worry about. It's just a rough patch, and it'll pass. Let's not make a big deal out of it. I love you, and I want us to have open and honest communication. Keeping things bottled up will only create distance between us. Please, If something is weighing on your mind, let me be there for you. We're a team, remember? I know we're a team, darling, but honestly, I'm fine. I don't want you to stress over something that will resolve itself. I promise it's nothing you need to be concerned about. Okay, I'll respect your wishes for now, but please remember that I'm here for you no matter what. We're partners and we can face anything together. Just know that you can talk to me whenever you're ready. Something changed between us. Will used to be affectionate, but now his actions felt empty and his laughter lacked warmth. It was like he wasn't fully there, leaving me confused and hurt. I wanted our connection back, to feel reassured, but it seemed impossible. As time went on, the gap between us grew wider. I poured my heart out, asking for him to be honest and communicate, but he didn't respond. It felt like he was keeping a secret, shutting me out. Whenever I tried to talk about it, he avoided the topic, changing it or pretending everything was fine. The more I tried to understand, the more distant he became, building walls between us. One day, I turned to my close friends for advice and support. They encouraged me to confront him once more, to demand the truth. That evening, I gathered my courage and confronted Will again, determined to get answers. He couldn't look me in the eye as I poured out my heart, telling him about his sleep-talking, his distant behavior, and how it was hurting our relationship. I begged him to open up, to share his fears and concerns so we could work things out. But instead of understanding, there was silence. The gap between us grew deeper and I felt my hopes fading away. I realized I had tried everything I could do to communicate with him. If he wouldn't talk, I had to find answers another way. It was hard to believe. Emotions rushed through me, fear, anger, and heartbreak all mixed. I couldn't let this betrayal consume me, so I turned to the one person who I knew would understand, Will's mother, Lauren. Lauren and I had a special bond that went beyond being in-laws. She welcomed me into the family with open arms and treated me like a daughter. We shared many conversations talking about our dreams and fears. I confided in Lauren about Will's plans, and she was furious but also empathetic. Lauren, I have to tell you something. I've discovered some shocking things about Will, and it's tearing me apart. I don't know what to do. Pam, my dear, what's going on? You look so distraught. Please tell me everything. So, you know how Will sleep talks? Well, recently, he's been sleep talking about plans he's been making. Oh? What kind of plans? Will has been keeping secrets. He's been planning to leave me right after our child is born. At least that is what he has been repeating over and over again for the past couple of days. What? Are you sure these are not just innocent ramblings in his sleep? Well, whenever he sleep talks, it's usually him spilling things he usually wouldn't say when awake. Maybe this time it was a lie. That's what I'm hoping too, but every time I've tried to talk to him about it, he's either entirely avoiding or dismissing my thoughts. It's scaring me because my gut is telling me he actually plans to leave. I can't believe he would do this to our family. That no good son of mine, how dare he betray you and our family like this? Pam, I'm furious, but I'm also here for you. You're like a daughter to me, and I won't let him hurt you any further. Thank you, Lauren. I'm grateful to have your support. I don't know how to handle this situation, but I can't face it alone. You don't have to, my dear. We will get through this together. I promise you that. Whatever it takes, I will help you find the truth and protect you from any harm. I can't express how much your words mean to me, Lauren. Your love and support give me strength. We need to uncover the whole truth, no matter how difficult it may be. That's right, Pam. We'll dig into Will's past, talk to people who know him, and piece together the puzzle. We won't rest until we uncover the secrets he's been hiding. Just know that you're not alone in this, and I'll do everything in my power to make things right. Thank you. I don't know what I would do without you." She promised to support me in any way she could. Lauren started digging into Will's past, searching for answers and uncovering secrets. It was a process of looking into his memories, talking to people who knew him, and piecing together his character. We wanted to understand why he had done this, why he had considered leaving our family. Lauren reached out to people who had crossed paths with Will, trying to find clues about his choices and who he really was. Lauren started by talking to Will's old friends who had lost all contact with him. These people had once been close to him and knew of the complexities of his life back then. They could give a clearer picture of who Will really was. These old friends talked about how Will often felt restless. They said that he seemed to always have been searching for something more in life. They mentioned his struggle with commitment and his fear of being tied down. It seemed like he had a hard time staying content with stability and always longed for independence. Lauren went even further and reached out to Will's past romantic partners. She connected with people who had experienced the ups and downs of a relationship with him. They shared their stories and heartbreak and disappointment. These brave individuals talked about how their relationship with Will started off well, but gradually he became distant and detached. It was as if he was constantly looking for a way out, never fully committing to the relationship. Among these stories, one stood out. Lauren reached out to Will's girlfriend from college. Lauren always thought that the breakup had been messy, so never prodded Will about what had happened. This girl revealed that she had been left by Will when she needed him the most. She had gotten pregnant with his child. However, as soon as she told Will about the pregnancy, he seemed overjoyed. But as time passed, she began to notice how he began to act so distantly. In the end, he left her to deal with the pregnancy on her own. The girl didn't know what caused it, but she bet that it was the grief and loneliness. The girl had suffered from a severe miscarriage after 6 months of pregnancy. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. While I was a little comforted to know that I wasn't the only one that had suffered thanks to Will's commitment issues, the thought that Will had done that to someone was beyond horrifying. Lauren had looked like she had seen a ghost. She couldn't believe that she almost had a grandbaby. She couldn't believe that because of her son's recklessness and lack of empathy, she missed out on such an important milestone. But most of all, both of us were angry at the way Will had treated this girl. We profusely apologized to her and asked her if there was any way we could make it up to her. She just waved us off and told us that one day Will's karma would catch up to him, so she didn't have to do anything to hurt him. With this new information, Lauren became even more determined. She couldn't just sit back and let her son repeat his past mistakes, hurting more people along the way. Lauren decided to change her will, excluding her son from his expected share of the assets. It was a well-thought-out move, a consequence that would make him face the impact of his choices. She wanted to protect me, her daughter-in-law, and our child from the pain of abandonment that had haunted Will for too long. I can't thank you enough for your unwavering support and love during this difficult time. You've been my rock, and I'm forever grateful. My dear, you and our grandchild mean the world to me. I've made a decision that I want to share with you. I'm changing my will to exclude Will from his expected share of the assets. Lauren, that's a big step. I appreciate your consideration, but I don't want to cause any family conflicts. I understand your concern, but please listen to my reasoning. I want to ensure that you and our grandchild have something secure, something that won't be dependent on Will's choices. I've always assumed that everything would go to you automatically, being his wife and the mother of his child. But recent events have made me realize that we can't rely on that assumption. Lauren, I can't express how much this means to me. Your love and protection are truly remarkable. But what if Will changes? What if he realizes the gravity of his actions? My dear, I hope with all my heart that Will does change and becomes the loving and committed husband and father you deserve. However, even if he does change, I don't want to leave anything to a man who could so easily abandon a woman with a child to fend for herself. This decision is not meant to punish him, but rather to ensure yours and our grandchild's security and well-being. I got it. Your intentions are clear, and I'm touched by your thoughtfulness. It brings me comfort to know that you're looking out for us, and I'll forever cherish your support and love. You're like a daughter to me, Pam, and I'll always be here for you. So I'll do everything in my power to protect and provide for you and our grandchild. Just know that no matter what happens, my heart and my home will always be welcome to both of you. I talked to Will again because I couldn't shake the feeling that something else was going on. This time, I brought up something painful from his past, how he had left his ex-girlfriend when she was pregnant. When I said it, I saw the shock on his face, and he couldn't believe it. He tried to comfort me and save our relationship. He denied wanting to repeat his past mistakes and told me not to worry. He seemed desperate and scared of losing everything he cared about. At that moment, I felt a glimmer of hope, wanting to believe he had changed. I hoped our love could overcome his past mistakes. I held on to his promises, hoping for stability and security. But fate had other plans. A week before my due date, as I packed my hospital bag, curiosity got the best of me. In my fear and suspicion, I couldn't resist and looked into Will's journal. I knew it was wrong to snoop, but I couldn't stop myself from reading it. As I read his journal, I felt shocked. The words revealed the awful truth. Will had planned to leave me and our baby, just like he had done before. The entries explained his cold and calculated intentions, wanting to escape his responsibilities as a father and abandon our family. It hurt so much to see his true feelings written down. He wanted to end our marriage, but he stayed with me during my pregnancy. He felt trapped and just wanted to be free. It was devastating to learn the person I loved could plan to hurt us like this. The journal proved he had planned to leave us all along, and my heart felt like it was breaking into pieces. I knew I couldn't continue down this path. I couldn't keep clinging to false hope and empty apologies. I had to protect myself and my unborn child from a future of uncertainty and abandonment. With a heavy heart, I made the painful decision to cut all ties with Will. It was the only way to protect myself and my child from the cycle of pain and betrayal that seemed to follow him. I decided that I would carry on until the birth of my child before I acted on my plans. I was far too pregnant to do anything, so I had to pretend like everything was okay. Time passed and our precious child was born, bringing immense joy to the room. The day I was discharged from the hospital marked a turning point in our story. With the revised will and divorce papers in my hand, I talked to Will immediately. I handed Will the envelope containing a copy of his mother's new will and the divorce papers. He looked shocked as he read the contents. His face was drained of color. He staggered back. He gave in to the overwhelming shock and fainted. Chaos erupted in the hospital room as nurses rushed to his side, desperately trying to revive him. Amidst the chaos, I stood there feeling very satisfied and very much like I was a winner. My revenge was complete, but I knew it didn't end there. When Will regained consciousness, confusion clouded his mind as he struggled to make sense of the situation. As the haze lifted, he saw the anger and disappointment in my eyes. It made him realize that his actions had brought about this aftermath. "How dare you do this? You dragged my mother into this too?" "I didn't do that at all. In fact, this was all your mother's plan." "I thought we were good. I thought we were going to forgive and forget." "I couldn't do that. I know it was wrong, but I looked through your journal. Nobody who loved their partners would ever write such disgusting and elaborate plans of leaving their vulnerable partner. Why would you do that? That's a gross invasion of my privacy. I'm only sorry for that. I would much rather only be sorry to you right now than be sorry to our son, also when you eventually leave us. You've shown me your true colors, and I hate it. Please, just you watch. You come running back to me the second this child gets too expensive for you. I doubt it. Okay, fine. I have to admit that I'm sorry, baby. I didn't know what came over me at that moment. I guess I was just having a rough week. Please, don't leave me. I'm nothing without you. I almost gave in to Will's pleas again, but then I remembered the way that he had switched tactics so fast, from belittling me to begging me just so he could keep me around. That was not okay. I knew if I went back to him, it would only get worse. Today, I am a survivor. I don't let that heartbreak define me anymore. Instead, I focus on the strength I found within myself. Revenge, when used wisely, can help us grow and become stronger. Remember, no matter how hurtful the betrayal, there is hope for a better tomorrow. Stand tall, be strong, and let your revenge be the stepping stone to a brighter future. Hi, I'm Wanda and I'm 33, and I too would like to share my crazy revenge story. Alright, so let's talk about my life with Liam. We've been married for a solid 10 years, and for the most part, it's been smooth sailing. Well, except for this eensy-teensy problem, my mother-in-law. Now, don't get me wrong, I love Liam to bits, and that's why I put up with all the crazy stuff his mom pulls. You see, Liam is Tabitha's precious baby boy, and I mean precious. He's the only boy in the family, and she has this weird obsession with him. It's like he's the last slice of pizza, and she's afraid to share him with anyone. From day one, I noticed Tabitha's overbearing nature. She'd constantly baby him and coddle him even when he was well into adulthood. Liam didn't like it one bit, and he'd often tell me how his mom had scared away his previous girlfriends with her antics. But lucky for me, I stuck around despite all that craziness. The thing with Tabitha is that she was super sneaky. She won't outright tell you she doesn't like you. Instead, she'll get close to you and try to learn all your weaknesses, and once she knows them, she's not afraid to use them against you. Liam would try to talk some sense into her and ask her to stop meddling in our lives, but she wouldn't listen. She'd just give us this innocent smile and then go right back to her shenanigans. It was like a never-ending battle, and honestly, it was exhausting. But hey, when you love someone, you learn to tolerate their crazy family too, right? Right. Thankfully, once Tabitha realized that Liam and I were serious about each other, she surprisingly toned down her crazy antics for a while. I guess she finally saw that I wasn't going anywhere and she couldn't easily scare me away. I mean, I'm tough as nails, and I wasn't going to let her interfere with our relationship. Liam and I were so relieved when she calmed down a bit. We finally felt like we could be a normal couple and enjoy some alone time without her constant meddling. It was like a breath of fresh air. But you know how it is with family. Even though Tabitha stopped being as crazy now and then, about once or twice a year, she would come up with some excuse to stay over at our place for a month or two. It was always something like her house being fumigated, or having an infestation, or smelling bad, etc. Any excuse she could find for not wanting to stay in her home. I mean, come on. It was obvious she was making things up just to stay with us. But here's the thing. We understood. Tabitha was a widow and she was lonely. Liam was her only son and she loved and missed him dearly. So even though we knew she was making up excuses, we didn't mind having her over. We knew she was harmless at that point and wasn't trying to sabotage our relationship anymore. So we'd welcome her with open arms and make the best of the time we had together. It wasn't always easy, but family is family, right? Hey, babe. What's up? I just wanted to thank you for being so patient with my crazy mother. I know it's not always easy when she comes to stay with us, but you handle it like a champ. Well, it's not always a walk in the park. She always ends up stealing you away, but I love you, Liam, and I'll do anything to see you happy. Besides, it's kind of cute in a way, you know? This little old lady wants to be in her son's company from time to time. It just shows that she cares about you. Yeah, I guess you're right. She can be a handful, but deep down, I know she means well. It means a lot to me that you understand that and are willing to put up with her occasional visits. Of course, Liam. We're a team, right? And family is important. Your mom may drive us a bit crazy sometimes, but she's still your mom and she's a part of our lives. So I'll welcome her with open arms whenever she wants to stay, even if she comes up with some wild excuses. You're amazing, you know that? Thanks for always being there for me and putting up with all of us, the good, the bad, and the crazy. It was one of those typical days when Tabitha came for her usual visits. We were all hanging out together as a family, catching up and enjoying each other's company. Tabitha and I were sitting on the couch watching TV, and the topic of attractive celebrities came up. We spent some time giggling and chatting about our celebrity crushes, and it felt strangely nice to bond with her over something so casual. It was a side of Tabitha I hadn't seen before, relaxed and just enjoying a simple moment together. Oh, Wanda, did you see that actor on the TV? He's quite the handsome devil. If only I was 20 years younger. You mean George Clooney? Yes, he is quite attractive. I wouldn't mind a ride on that merry-go-round. Tabitha! Who would have thought? Oh my goodness. He's so attractive. And what about that other man, the one that I love so much? Oh, you mean Idris? Idris Elba? Yes, him. Honestly, I'd risk it all for that man. If he came up to me, I'd probably leave your son for him. When I said this, I noticed that Tabitha stopped smiling and giggling. You'd leave Liam for this man? Oh, Tabitha, I was just joking. Of course I wouldn't leave Liam for Idris Elba. Or would I? Wink. I could tell that she didn't take it lightly, and I tried explaining that it was all a joke in good-hearted fun. But it looked like the gears were turning in her head. The very next day, I got an Instagram DM from, drumroll please, Idris Elba. Why, hello, young lady. I was scrolling and I noticed you, and I just wanted to say that you're the most beautiful lady I've ever seen. Please, can we talk? I would be honored. Yeah, right, as if the real Idris Elba would message me out of the blue. But I played along just to see where this was going, and guess what? It was none other than my lovely mother-in-law, Tabitha. She thought she could pretend to be Idris Elba and try to fool me. Oh, I couldn't help but chuckle when I saw her attempt. The fake account had no blue verified checkmark, 0 followers, 0 pictures, and the one follower on that account was Tabitha herself. I mean, come on. Did she think I wouldn't figure it out? Her attempt at tricking me was adorable. Babe, you won't believe what happened. I was chatting with your mom yesterday, and we got on the topic of celebrity crushes. You know, just having some harmless fun. Uh-huh. Well, we were talking about some celebrities we find attractive, and she mentioned Idris Elba. And then I said that I would leave you for Idris. What? Hey! Sorry, not sorry, babe. Okay, I don't blame you. And then what happened? So after our chat, I got a message on Instagram from Idris Elba. Wait, really? No, of course not. It was your mom, Liam. What? How does she even know what Instagram is? Beats me. Looks like she figured it out, though. How do you know it's her? Okay, first of all, look at the DM. Does this sound real? Liam read the text and burst out laughing. And look, the account has 0 followers, 0 pictures. It's not even verified, and Tabitha was the one and only follower. That's hilarious, but why is she texting you as Idris Elba? Yesterday when I mentioned that I'd leave you for Idris, she got real serious and stopped laughing. Oh. Yeah, I think she thought I was being serious about leaving you for Idris. And you know your mom, she's obsessed with you. So I guess this is her way of testing if I'm going to take the bait. No way. Mom went all out with this one. I'm still impressed at the fact that she managed to use a smartphone. Mom's got some wild imagination, I'll give her that. But honestly, I think she's just having some fun. She loves you and knows you're not the type to fall for something like that. I don't know, babe. I think she thinks she's doing some real detective work. I know she's trying to catch me doing something so that she could come and report it to you. Okay, so what's the plan now? Well, I might keep playing along a bit. I mean, it's not every day you get the chance to pretend you're being wooed by Idris Elba. Liam and I laughed about it a bit more, and I texted Idris back and said, "Oh my goodness, a real celebrity texting me? I'm so flattered." Tabitha almost responded instantly, like she was waiting for my reply. "You deserve to be spoiled, baby. I can show you the world. Are you married?" "Well, I'm a happily married woman. My husband is amazing, and we've been together for 10 fantastic years." "Oh, happily married, you say? That's a shame. I'm sure I can treat you better." "Yeah, it's a shame, but I have to be honest with you. My husband is my world, and I wouldn't trade him for anything." "Come on. Don't tell me you've never been curious about what it's like to be with someone like me. I could show you a whole new world." "Oh, I bet you could. But you see, I've got a good thing going with my man, and I wouldn't trade it for anything, not even for a fantasy with you, Idris." "Don't you want to see how amazing it would be? Trust me, I can sweep you off your feet." You're quite the charmer, Mr. Elba, but I don't think my husband would appreciate that." "Your husband doesn't need to know. It'll be our little secret. We can have the time of our lives." Tempting? Yeah, baby. Have you ever been to Dubai, Mauritius? I hear it's lovely this time of the year. But how could I get away from my husband? You work as a journalist, right? Tell your husband that you have to go on a trip to study something in one of these beautiful places, and my people will handle the rest. You know what, Idris? That might work. But hey, wait a second. I never told you what I did for a living. At this point, I'm pretty sure Tabitha was panicking, realizing that she messed up because she took 30 minutes to respond. But eventually she texted back. "I'm rich and famous, baby. Do you think I didn't do a background check on you before we started talking?" "Okay, fair enough. So when can you pick me up?" "I can pick you up by the end of the week. Let's meet at a cafe. I'll send you the details." "Okay, Idris. Can't wait." "I love you." "Love you too." This was cracking me up, texting Idris Elba, who was under the same roof as me. The next day, I was just sitting at the breakfast nook when Tabitha stormed in, looking furious. She started yelling at me, accusing me of cheating as she revealed that someone special had sent her screenshots of me and Idris DMs. She thought she had caught me cheating red-handed. I tried my best to look upset, but I ended up having to stifle a laugh, which only seemed to make Tabitha angrier. She was convinced She had pulled one over on me, and boy, was she wrong. Tabitha then decided to call Liam, who was at work, and put him on speaker. She spilt the whole story, boasting about how her plan had worked and how she caught me in the act. No, Tabitha, please don't call him. You're going to get it. Just wait. I bit my tongue as the phone rang, trying so hard not to laugh. Hey, Ma, what's up? I have some news for you, Liam, and you're not going to like it. Wanda has been cheating on you. Oh? Yes, and you'll never guess who it is. Who is it, Ma? It's Idris Elba. A very special someone had sent me screenshots of their conversations. I forwarded them to your email. Check them out. Liam, I'm so sorry for hurting you. Oh, don't act innocent, Wanda. Yeah, Wanda, I can't believe you would do this to me. I'm almost done with work, and I'm coming home to sort this out. I'm going to divorce you, Wanda. Oh my God, Liam, don't speak like that. What about the children? Liam played along perfectly, pretending to sound hurt and angry on the phone. They'll understand that I had to get away from you. Come on, you guys. It's not like I cheated. Yes, you did. You showed a willingness to cheat, and that's still cheating. Okay, fine, you got me there, Liam. Give me another chance, babe. No, it's too late. Liam, I swear, I didn't mean to hurt you. I can't believe Tabitha would play such a mean trick on me. Well, maybe now you'll think twice before trying to cheat on my son again. Yeah, I trusted you, Wanda. This is disappointing. I'm so sorry, Liam. I'll do whatever it takes to make it up to you. Nothing will make up for this. I'm done with you. Just wait until I get home. I'm getting the papers as we speak. Then Liam hung up the phone, and I had to keep up this charade until he got home. Tabitha looked so proud and smug about what she thought she'd accomplished, but she was in for a rude awakening. When Liam got home, he stormed into the house with a serious expression, and he looked right at his mom, Tabitha, saying, Idris, it's time for you to pack your bags. Liam, what are you talking about? Why are you telling me to pack my bags? And why are you calling me Idris? The jig is up, Mom. We knew it was you all along. You were the one texting Wanda and pretending to be Idris freaking Elba. I have no idea what you're talking about. I would never do such a thing. It's beneath me. Come on, Tabitha. Let's not pretend. You made it way too obvious. No profile picture, no followers. It was so transparent. A for effort, though. Wanda's right. We knew from the start, but we wanted to see where this was going. You gave us a good laugh. Okay, fine, it was me. I just wanted to test Wanda's loyalty. Test my loyalty? All because I made some stupid joke about Idris Elba? Liam and I have been married for 10 years. When will you accept that I'm not going anywhere? Mom, this has got to stop. We can't keep going through this. I thought you'd changed. I don't know what you want me to say, Liam. You're my baby boy and I love you. Aw, I know, Mom, but I'm a grown man. You can't keep trying to coddle me and test my relationship. I love Wanda and she loves me. You're wasting your time when you do these things. Tabitha, we love having you around, but you need to stop these games. We're a family, and you can't keep trying to sabotage that. Wanda's right. We need some boundaries until you can fully accept our relationship. This isn't right. How can you kick your mother out? Mom, please don't make this difficult. Tabitha packed her bags with a mix of anger, disappointment, and understanding. It was a tricky moment, but Liam and I knew it was necessary. Do you think we've been too easy on her over the years? Probably. I mean, that's why she did what she did, isn't it? She was digging for any excuse to get us to break up. Yeah, it's crazy. Maybe you need to check your mom into a mental hospital or something. Hey, ouch. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm being serious. Someone who would go to such lengths can be dangerous. We had good fun because she's a little old lady. She can't hurt us if she tried, God bless her soul. But I feel like some deep attachment issues need to be discussed. You're probably right. I was glad that Tabitha got this much-needed wake-up call. She was always acting like she could get away with things just because she loved her son. And as much as this was something I found funny and played along with, someone who is willing to sabotage something for no good reason needs to be taught a lesson. Tabitha came up to me before she left, looking somewhat annoyed and defeated, and said, "I'm sorry for trying to trick you, Wanda. I just want Liam to have the best." It's okay, Tabitha. I accept your apology. But we need some space right now. Maybe you should go back home and spend some time alone. Not in isolation, but in solitude. Tabitha looked a bit hurt, but she nodded. You're right. I guess I got too clingy and attached to my son. I put my hand on her shoulder, trying to be understanding. I know you do, but you need to let your son live. He's an adult, not a baby. We love you, and you're always welcome, but we need some boundaries. Maybe we were too easy on you, so now we got to have a bit of distance. I mean, you threatened my marriage. That's a big deal. Tabitha nodded again, and I could tell she was trying to hold back tears. I understand. I'll try to give you both some space. We hugged, and I reassured her that everything would be fine. Deep down, I knew that Tabitha meant well, but her overprotectiveness could be suffocating at times. Liam and I needed this time to strengthen our relationship and find our way as a couple. After she left, Liam and I had a long talk about setting boundaries with his mom. He understood that we needed to have time alone and agreed that we should stand firm in our decision. As the weeks passed, Tabitha gradually respected our space. We would still visit her and have family gatherings, but it was evident that she was giving us the breathing room we needed. It was a step in the right direction, and I was hopeful that our relationship with Tabitha would eventually find a healthy balance. In the end, it all worked out. Liam and I grew closer than ever before, and Tabitha learned to trust our love for each other. We created a happy and loving home, and we were grateful for the experiences that had brought us even closer together. As she left, Liam put his arm around me, and we looked at each other with a sense of relief. I know this story isn't as vengeful as the other stories I see on this page, but I just thought that I'd share a somewhat light-hearted story of mine, where the revenge I got didn't end in complete and utter chaos. Rather, just a teaching moment for someone who I still care about dearly. I, Cami, have always been a very non-confrontational person. So my story is going to shock you a little. When I met my now husband, Damien, we clicked right away. We started dating right away, and I knew from the beginning that he was the one. Damien was a sweet and caring boyfriend who always loved pampering me. My own parents kind of neglected me, so I treasured him. When we were together, we felt like everything was going right. However, our life will not always be full of sunshine and roses. It all started when I met his family. Knowing Damien, I always thought that his family would be equally sweet and kind. Turns out I was wrong. What I didn't know was that he came from a very patriarchal family. His Orthodox father, Bob, was a conservative man with a stubborn attitude. When I met him, he made all sorts of weird comments about me. He said, "So, Cami, I hear you want to become a nurse." "Yes, Bob, my grandma was a nurse and she inspired me to join this field. I'm a little worried about getting a good scholarship. It's my dream to get into the best nursing school in the state." "Cammie's a very good student, Dad. She's one of the top performers in our class. I take her help when I'm stuck with something." "What does it matter if she's a good student? She's a girl. There's no use for her to go to college." "Cammie, don't you think you're better off doing something else, like baking or something?" "No, Bob, I want to be a nurse. It has been my dream since I was little. Well, it's time to grow up now. If you become a nurse, you'll hardly have time to take care of my son. I don't know why he's encouraging you. Dad, I can take care of myself. It's not the 90s anymore. We will be fine. Quit criticizing Cammy about her goals. Bob didn't care what his son said. He went on interrogating me and asking me absurd questions. From the way he spoke to me, I knew he didn't think much of me or anyone from my gender. I was starting to get agitated but held my tongue. As I said, I am a non-confrontational person and usually want to keep the peace. Damien was also shooting me apologetic looks the entire evening. His younger brother Charlie didn't speak much but seemed to be a little better than his dad. When dinner was finally over, Damien offered to drop me home. He was constantly apologizing for his father's behavior. He said, "I'm so sorry, Cammy. I know my dad really upset you today. He's very old-fashioned and just won't change his thinking. I've tried. Ever since Mom left us, he got even worse. Sometimes I think he takes out that anger on other people." "It's okay, Damien. Your father's rudeness has nothing to do with you. I am not blaming you one bit. I'm just a little disappointed in him." "Just give him a chance, Cammy. I'm sure he'll come around. He just needs to see what an amazing person you are." We talked about the dinner and agreed that it was too early to worry about his dad. Our relationship was still very new and we didn't know what the future held. Bob, however, did everything to convince me to give up my studies. It's like he had an obsession with me being a housewife. I told him multiple times that I wanted to work and be a nurse. He never really seemed to listen to me. After graduation, I and Damien finally got into our dream colleges. He pursued a degree in architecture and I started a nursing program. I and Damien lived close by, but avoided staying together. I had a very hectic schedule and didn't want to be distracted. Damien was still living with his dad and Bob didn't want me in the house. Things were slowly getting better after Damien got his place. With graduation near, Damien decided that it would be the best time to propose. He popped the question the day after our graduation. We were ecstatic and looking forward to telling our family. My family, as usual, was very dismissive about the entire thing. Nonetheless, they were happy for us. When we told Damien's family, his initial reaction appeared to be happy. However, soon his reaction changed drastically. He said, "So, now that Damien has proposed, I hope you'll finally grow some sense." "What do you mean, Bob? I don't understand." "I mean, you're going to marry him anyway. There is no need for you to work anymore. My son already got a good job, and I'm sure he can take care of you." "He did get a good job, Bob, but I want to be independent, and you know this was my goal all along." "Don't tell me you're still stuck in your stupid dream. It's childish. Once you're a married woman, you need to be home and take care of your family. I hope you are not one of those child-free people." "Dad, it's too early to talk about kids. Besides, what we do in our married life is none of your business. Cammy will join her job. In fact, she is starting next month as a new hire." "Don't be ridiculous, Damien. You know how our family works. Also, you are the eldest son. You need to give me an heir. I would expect you two to start trying for kids soon after the wedding. Cammy's job won't be a good look for our family. How is she going to manage the house anyway? You will be left with all the chores and childcare. That's not what men do." "Bob, I will manage everything just fine. We will split the chores. It's not like I will neglect Damien and our future family when I work. You can have faith in me." "That's easy for you to say. No wonder your parents don't keep in contact with you. If you were my daughter, I wouldn't let you join college anyway." Bob's words were incredibly hurtful to me. I genuinely thought that he was going to change. However, it seems that he will always see me in a bad light just because I am a woman. At this point, I was ready to cut him out of my life. He was even criticizing Damien for not keeping me under control. It was bizarre. However, when I talked to Damien about the situation, he said, "Cammy, I know Dad is not the nicest person, but he is still my dad. My mom had already abandoned us. I can't leave him too. Besides, I have to think about Charlie. He needs my help right now. But Damien, I can't be around your toxic dad anymore. Did you hear what he told me? Do you think we should reward this behavior? Absolutely not, Cammy. I don't support his behavior in any way. All I'm saying is going no contact is not an option. If you want, you can stay away, but I have to look after him and Charlie. I promised I wouldn't abandon them. Fine, Damien, but promise me you will walk away when he becomes too much. I promise, Cammy. I will always stand up for you when Dad bullies you. You can be sure of that. With that, I thought he had made the right decision. When Bob was informed about this, he did throw a fit. Bob started to berate Damien for allowing me to disrespect him. He wanted to be treated right, and I had to be a good daughter-in-law to him. Too bad I wasn't going to be the ideal daughter-in-law he had envisioned. Thankfully, his target for a prospective daughter-in-law changed when he met Laurie, Charlie's girlfriend. She was everything Bob wanted in a daughter-in-law. Needless to say, Laurie quickly became his favorite. He even started to favor Charlie for choosing such a nice girl. While I didn't care, I could tell that Damien was hurt. The worst thing was that Charlie and Laurie also joined Bob in bullying us. During our wedding rehearsal, they sat with us and criticized all my choices for the wedding. They also berated my husband for spending so much money on my demand. Charlie said, "Hey bro, your wife sure did milk you out of a lot of money. You need to get yourself under control. Before you know it, she'll be ordering you around and making you the wife." Yeah, I've been telling him that. Turns out he never listened. It's not long before he gives up his job and becomes a housewife instead. He might as well just give up now. You need to stop disrespecting my fiancé like that. Just because he treats me with respect doesn't mean he deserves your bullying. Also, this wedding was equally funded by the both of us. Oh my God, Cammy, you need to watch how you talk to Bob. He's your father-in-law. I would never imagine talking to him like that. Have your parents taught you anything? Besides, I think Damien can speak for himself. He could speak for himself before his wife took over the reins. Bro, is your wife limiting your speeches as well? Everyone just laughed while Damien sat quietly. I could see that he was extremely upset. When it came to me, he would always speak out. However, when people attacked him, Damien tended to just take the bashing. However, I wasn't going to let it happen. From then on, I swore I would grow a spine. Now that I'm married into this family, I won't let them bully us. However, my relationship with the trio was just about to get worse. 1 year after the wedding, I found out that I was pregnant. We weren't exactly trying for a kid, but me and Damien were ecstatic. I was still in contact with Bob, Charlie, and Laurie, so Damien decided to tell them the news. After they heard about my pregnancy, Charlie and Laurie never reached out. I did not hear a peep from them. However, Bob was super happy about the pregnancy. Suddenly, Bob was extra kind and caring towards me. He even brought me gifts and paid a lot for setting up our nursery. We did offer him money, but he refused, saying he wanted the best for his grandson. We didn't find out the gender because we wanted it to be a surprise. However, Bob was convinced that we were having a boy. Honestly, it did rub me the wrong way, but I ignored the feeling because Damien was happy to have his dad back in our life. However, Bob's attitude towards my job never changed. One day, when Damien, Bob, Charlie, and Laurie were out for dinner, Laurie said, "So, Cammy, when are you quitting your job?" "Excuse me, I don't understand." "You know, with the child on the way, you need to start changing your priorities. If I was you, I would never sacrifice my time for my job. My child would need me, and I wouldn't be selfish enough to leave him alone." "Our baby won't be alone, Laurie. Thanks for your concern, but you and I are not the same. We will look into daycare and babysitters when it's time. We already have everything planned out. There is no need for any of us to quit our jobs." My God, some women can be selfish. I didn't take up a job because I wanted to give all my time to my family. We are going to try for kids as soon as we get married next year. I can't imagine being away from my kids when I go to my job. That's exactly why I never looked for one. Cammy, if you don't want to be a bad mom, you better listen to Laurie. I'm lucky she knows exactly what a wife should be doing for her family. We don't care what your wife does for you, Charlie. I and Laurie will be equally responsible for the child. Now, there's no need for a fight. I'm sure Laurie will figure everything out once my baby boy arrives. Who knows? You might just charm her into staying back. I was getting irritated by the conversation, but didn't escalate it any further. Having a meltdown in the middle of dinner won't be good for the baby. Damien also looked pissed and told them that we were leaving. Laurie and Charlie were being obnoxious, but we knew why. They were just mad that Bob was paying us so much attention. Laurie even let it slip that she wished she had the first grandchild. I found her comment strange because no matter what, grandparents would love all their grandchildren. Again, I was dead wrong. When I finally gave birth after 8 months, we found out that it was a girl. Me and Damien were over the moon because frankly, we were looking forward to the baby girl. Damien and I didn't have any sisters, so we wanted to have a baby girl in the family. Charlie and Laurie also seemed to be happy. However, they weren't happy for us. You see, the moment we told Bob about his granddaughter, he just looked surprised. He refused to believe we had a girl. Bob came to my room and said, "Is this true, Cammy, you had a girl?" "That is impossible. My first grandchild cannot be a girl. Damien is the oldest and he needs to have a boy. How am I going to get an heir now? Damien, are you sure she didn't cheat on you? Our family doesn't have girls. There must be something fishy." "Dad, Cammy didn't cheat on me. We had a girl. What does it matter if your grandchild is a girl? Aren't you happy to be a granddad?" "Absolutely not. I was being nice to you because I thought it was a boy. If you had found out the gender and told me, I wouldn't have made the effort." "Dad, are you serious? That is your freaking granddaughter, your own blood. How can you be so cruel?" "It's not a boy and I have nothing to do with her. She's your problem. I have no interest in being her loving granddad. I expect you to pay me back for the nursery. You have scammed me." "We will pay you back, Bob. If you can't be civil towards our daughter, there is no need for you to be here. You can leave." With that, Bob just turned around and left. Yes, he didn't hold our daughter, didn't even look at her. He simply didn't care anymore. This humiliation was too much for me. Damien broke down crying when Bob left. He couldn't believe his dad could be so cruel. However, we were skeptical about going no contact again. We wanted our daughter to have a relationship with him. We were both hopeful that he would come around. Our little girl, Chrissy, is our world. She is the kindest and most well-behaved child we could ask for. I and Damien were extremely happy to have her in our life. Christy was a general sweetheart and extremely good at her studies. She became an A student in her class and was loved by everyone. We tried to facilitate a relationship between her and Bob. While Chrissy loved her granddad, Bob wasn't that keen on being involved. What little attention he gave her disappeared when Charlie and Laurie had a son. Since Andy's birth, Bob did everything to make Charlie and Laurie comfortable. He even gave away a part of his income to support their household. Andy was a pampered kid who became very entitled. Since Laurie didn't work, it was becoming hard for Charlie to finance their luxurious lifestyle. Bob, being the doting grandpa he is, sponsored Andy's expensive demands. He was civil towards Chrissy, but never that involved. When Chrissy was a teenager, we had the worst fight with Bob. It was Christmas and we were invited to Bob's house for the celebration. When we went there, we saw that his house was filled with pictures of him and Andy. Chrissy said, "Grandpa, why don't you have any pictures on your wall? You have a lot of Andy's pictures. I don't remember you even asking for a picture with me." "Well, that's because Andy is my future heir. He's going to be the head of this family soon. You are just a girl who will be married off. I don't need a picture of you in this house. Besides, this house will go to Andy when I pass. He is the sole heir of everything I have. So you won't leave me anything? Why, Granddad, did I do something wrong? You are even paying for Andy's college fund. Why am I being excluded? Because he doesn't love you, Chrissy. He's my grandpa, not yours. You'll never be as good as me. Grandpa knows who his favorite grandchild is. Grandpa, is that true? You don't love me at all? But why? Because you are a girl, you dumb thing. Grandpa always wanted a grandson. You are basically useless to him. Before I could intervene, Chrissy started to cry. She kept asking Bob if it was true. Bob simply refused to look at her. Charlie, Laurie, and Andy were just laughing at Chrissy because she was crying. Me and Damien were furious. From that day, we decided they would no longer be in our lives. I also prayed to God that I could teach them a nice lesson when they eventually realized their mistake. Chrissy was heartbroken for an entire year. She tried to get in touch with her grandpa and solve everything. However, he was ignoring her calls. Bob even called us up and told us that he didn't want to remember he had a granddaughter. We were furious and told him never to contact Chrissy again. After a while, Chrissy realized that she didn't need to have them in her life. I and Damien constantly assured her that we loved her and that was all that mattered. We put her into therapy to get better. A few years later, Chrissy got into a great college. Her grades were amazing and she easily landed her dream job as a software engineer. By the end of 1 year after college graduation, she was earning a very high income. We were super proud of her. She had outshone almost all her peers. Andy, on the other hand, was not going so well. One day we suddenly got a surprise visit from Bob. He hadn't visited us since the Christmas dinner, so it was rather confusing to have him here. Damien was extremely mad and immediately told him to leave. However, I was really curious and wanted to hear him out, so I invited him inside. What's the matter, Bob? You haven't shown up here since the Christmas dinner. Hell, you didn't even call us except to say you don't want to be in contact. I know, I was just caught up with work. It's been years, so I thought I should visit. Cut the crap, Dad. Just tell us what you want. I know you better than to expect anything pleasant. I heard Chrissy has joined a big company as a software engineer, and I was hoping I could talk to her. About what exactly? You see, Andy had dropped out of college. I did my best to support him, but he just wouldn't take his studies seriously. He blew through his tuition money on alcohol. I did take a mortgage on the house for his college, but he has spent it all. I was hoping Chrissy would be able to help him get a job. Are you serious right now? You want Chrissy to vouch for your loser grandson? We are family. I'm sure Chrissy will want to help her little brother. Wait here. I'll be right back. I went to my room and brought out my old phone. I didn't use it anymore, but it was special for a reason. I opened my phone and selected a picture. Then I showed Bob the picture. It was the same photograph of him and Andy that Chrissy saw in his house. Bob was speechless. I said, "If she is family, Bob, where is her picture? Do you even remember, or have you conveniently forgotten how you said she doesn't matter? You were the one who said you don't want a granddaughter. Suddenly you think she's your family?" Look, it was a long time ago. We are still family. We don't hold grudges. Look, I even showed up at your house on my own. I will be happy to reconnect with Chrissy. And will you include her in your inheritance, or is that still reserved for Andy? I don't have much anyway. I spent it all on Andy. The house is all I have left. Andy needs my help. His parents cannot support him anymore. They'll kick him out. I don't earn enough to support him now. There is no way my daughter is helping your loser grandson. He doesn't even have a college degree. Do you think my daughter's company takes college dropouts? You must be kidding yourself. Andy deserves this. If only you hadn't coddled him so much, he would have at least had a job. You made your bed, and now you need to lie on it. You decided to spend all your money on Andy. Chrissy had made it clear she would never help you out, even if it was the end of the world. I suggest you leave. We have nothing to say to you anymore. Bob left, but kept spamming us with calls. He was desperate for help. Turns out Andy has been living with him for the past year. He has already trashed his parents' place after they refused to support his unemployed ass. Bob, being the loving grandpa, had to take him in. However, he could no longer put up with his behavior. Bob even showed up at Chrissy's work to try and talk to her. Chrissy simply told him to leave before she called security. When Bob kept begging her for help, she agreed to give the money in exchange for the house. Bob refused to sell her the house, so she just left him there crying on the pavement. A week later, Bob called us and told Chrissy that he was ready to sell. He simply wanted Andy out of the house. He was planning to move far away where Andy couldn't follow him. Chrissy agreed to buy the house and the papers were drawn. When the sale finally happened, Bob did ask for a relationship with Chrissy. However, she told him that he had lost that right long back. Hi, I'm Megan, and this is my story. I'm 32 and I work in an advertising agency in San Francisco, California. I do not have kids because I was never really ready to be a mother, but I think I'm glad that I didn't have a child. My life was a mess after I got married. I think I'm one of the people out there who regret getting married. I was newly married, and in just 2 years it became an obnoxious way of living. I feel bad that my parents had to go through a shitty life because of me. They live with me in San Francisco. They have always been super supportive and guarded about my personal life to strangers. They didn't deserve this. This was truly my fault. I was a pitiful person who had no talent for recognizing people's intentions. I just found anyone nice to me an angel. When I sit here and write, I reminisce about the first proper time I met Jeffrey. It was an unremarkable afternoon when I first laid eyes on Jeffrey. I just started my new job at the advertising agency, and the air was filled with the buzzing sounds of ringing phones and the hum of coworkers engrossed in their work. Little did I know that this ordinary day would mark the beginning of a journey that would forever intertwine our lives. And of course, the day I put myself into the mess. As I navigated through the maze of cubicles, I noticed him, a tall, bespectacled man with an air of quiet confidence. Jeffrey. He had a kind smile and a genuine warmth that drew people in. It wasn't long before our paths crossed, as fate would have it, during a brainstorming session for a client's campaign. "You are the newbie, right?" "Yes, just joined." "I must say it is a beautiful workplace and they have a great coffee machine." "Yeah, the place cleans up pretty nicely. Many people have commented on how the place can get once the real show begins. You get so many meetings to attend that are sometimes just an excuse to give boring lectures. But our employer is pretty chill." "How many breaks do we get here?" I need small breaks because my back gives up on me like anything." "Oh, really? Mine too." "There are good sitting areas around the office. You can always change your positions whenever you feel uncomfortable." "Okay. And the coffee machine is right there." "Well, which cubicle are you in? It's nice to get to know someone, and even better if you get to sit beside them." "Oh, yes. My den is the one in the first row, 3 seats on the left." As we got to know each other, we found ourselves paired up for the task, exchanging ideas and engaging in lively discussions. His creativity and intelligence impressed me, and I admired his ability to think outside the box. We shared a natural synergy, bouncing ideas off each other effortlessly. Our connection extended beyond the confines of the office walls. We discovered common interests, from a love for indie music to a shared passion for exploring hidden gems in the city. As the weeks turned into months, our professional camaraderie blossomed into friendship. "Hey, I got these 2 concert tickets. Want to check it out with me?" "Oh no, the underground ones. You know how claustrophobic I am. I'll probably faint from the obnoxious smell and sweat." "Oh, come on. This is not those kind of ones. This is a cafe nearby. One of my favorite indie artists is coming to perform. Come on. We'll have fun. Plus, we're going to get a discount on the food that will be served because we have the tickets. Their pasta is really good. You would love it. I have a curfew, you know. My parents are very particular about me coming back before 10. And I am pretty sure concerts start very late at night, no? Well, technically they are starting around 8, but we can reach there before time, like around 7:30, or have some food and chat until the performance begins. We can rest a while, and I promise I will drop you home by 9:45, okay? Oh, okay, fine. But if this turns out boring, you will pay for everything. Friendship brought us closer, and it helped us get to know each other even more without feeling any sort of attachment. And all the must-be's and would-haves. Just plain old buddies hanging out. We thought this wouldn't spark any further until an impromptu after-work gathering that the spark between us truly ignited. Amidst the clinking of glasses and laughter, we found ourselves lost in conversation, our voices drowning out the noise around us. Time seemed to stand still as we delved into deeper topics, revealing our fears, dreams, and vulnerabilities. That time, I realized that Jeffrey saw me, not just the professional facade I wore during office hours, but the person beneath the surface. And I saw him too. His passion, his kindness, and the way his eyes lit up when he spoke about his dreams. It was then that I knew there was something more profound brewing between us. Months passed and our friendship evolved into something deeper. We navigated the delicate dance of courtship, cherishing the stolen moments of shared laughter and stolen glances. With each passing day, our connection grew stronger, until it became undeniable. We were falling in love. Everything sounds fluttery and nice, doesn't it? I know, because it felt like that at that time. But he was such a sly human being. The red flag was he was a total mama's boy. He would call his mom and talk to her in a babyish voice. He would have a different demeanor. He would whimper and giggle like a little child. I was shocked to see a transition like that. And he created a different personality in front of his mother. The things he would share with me, he would hide from his mother. That is always these type of people who end up being the creepy kind and makes you question every sentence. One day when he finished his call, I reluctantly interrogated him. Was that your mom? Yes. Is she angry at you over something? You were sweating bullets right there. Nay, she's a sweetheart. She just loves me and is concerned about losing me. She was asking me whether I'm eating well or not and if the job was too tough for me. She always wants me back, but I always try to convince her out of it. Well, we should invite her then. It would be nice to meet your mother. Ah, we will. But I think she won't like visiting us because she's not really well and she lives alone in an old rental. Sometimes it gets really difficult, but we manage. Maybe we can visit her. Yeah, that would be nice. When Jeffrey finally mustered the courage to confess his feelings, my heart was having feelings of joy, nervousness, excitement, and scare, all of them together. I mean, I had such mixed feelings about him. It was quite an evening at a local cafe, the aroma of freshly brewed coffee mingling with the nervous anticipation in the air. With trembling hands and a genuine vulnerability, he professed his love. My mind was blown by the fact that he was following two different worlds, and he was also going to mingle me into it. He decided that he would move in with me and my family, and he had no problem taking my last name as well. His mother's house is in Sacramento. He lived with her until he got a job here and settled. His apartment was expensive, so he was kind of really eager to move in with me. He never invited me to his mother's place as well, saying that it was too shabby and I won't like it. He was trying his best to hide me from his mother. I understand, dear, but we must think of everything. If you're going to get married to me and move in with me, wouldn't that be trouble for your mother? You live with her, don't you? Yes, I do, but you know, dear, I feel like it wouldn't be a good place to stay, and I want you to feel comfortable and happy. My parents won't have a problem, but will you be okay with them sometimes hanging out with us? They are always worried about me forgetting them, so sometimes during weekends, I spend time with them. I've gotten quite busy with my work and I come home really tired. We used to have dinner together, but nowadays I usually eat alone or eat outside. I understand, love, and it's all right. Don't worry so much. I'm here. But then what about your mom? Will she be okay? I will try to make time for her. During the times you go out with your family, I will visit my mom. Look, we're a team, right? We can make anything work if we put our minds to it. Our wedding day was not extravagant or grand, but it was filled with mixed emotions. As I stood at the altar gazing into Jeffrey's eyes, I knew that I had found my partner, my confidant, and my best friend, but also a secretive mother worshipper who also hides his real personality. Sometimes I wondered which one was his real side, the one he shows me or the one he shows to his mother. That evening, our journey had come full circle, from colleagues to friends, and now as husband and wife. But things took a sharp turn. I didn't know that the change would happen drastically. It felt like there was a small dent in our perfect picture frame. I find myself grappling with a peculiar sense of simplicity and monotony. Two individuals embarked on this marital adventure filled with dreams, hopes, and expectations. Yet, as time unfolded, our days seemed to settle into a rhythm that can only be described as unremarkable, even boring. From the moment we exchanged our vows, we vowed to be there for each other through thick and thin. Our love was simple, and our commitment was unquestionable. At least I wanted to try. But little did we realize that amidst the grandeur of our dreams, the reality of a simple and mundane married life would soon take hold. While Jeffrey was making arrangements to leave the apartment, I had a talk with my parents about the fact that he was moving in with us. So, how's everything with Jeffrey? Hey, it's good, but sometimes I can't help but feel like something is off. I mean, Jeffrey's an incredibly talented guy. He's sweet and kind and does so well in his work. He and I have so much in common, but he has a strange side to himself as well. See, dear, I told you the other day that my daughter has ended up marrying a creep. He looks intelligent and sharp. I don't doubt that. But his eyes are. I don't like his eyes. He also has immature and childlike behaviors which look kind of odd. Let us hear what she has to say before we jump to conclusions like that. I mean, Dad is right in a way. He does have two different personalities, actually three. He acts differently when he's working. With me, he's more or less chill and happy, but with his mother, there's an observable shift in his behavior. So he's a mother's boy, natural thing. The only child is a boy and the mother is a divorcee. I wouldn't be too surprised. Have you met her? I haven't. I mean, I told him a couple of times, but he's always hesitant about it. He said that his mother is ill and doesn't like the company of people. That is nonsense. You are his bride now. That is a basic decency to want to meet his wife. I mean, I'm not saying that it is compulsory, but it is what you say, a courtesy. Oh yeah, one more thing. Jeffrey wants to move in with us. Like, he would bring everything from his apartment and... What? No, I don't like him. I feel like he would be using you, and why isn't he letting you stay with him? Not like that I want you to go away, but I need to see his terms and conditions. Apparently, he says that his apartment is not that well put, and he doesn't want me to feel uneasy. Strange. In the early days of our marriage, I noticed how often Jeffrey would consult his mother before making decisions, seeking her approval and validation. It seemed as though her opinion held more weight than mine, his wife. At first, I tried to brush it off, thinking it was just a result of their close relationship. But as time went on, I realized that it was much more than that. Jeffrey's mother, Martha, had always been a dominant presence in his life. She had raised him as a single mother and had instilled in him a strong sense of loyalty and duty towards her. It was clear that he felt responsible for her happiness and would go to great lengths to ensure her approval. As the years went by, I found myself playing second fiddle to Martha in Jeffrey's life. Our plans and dreams took a backstage to his mother's desires. Whether it was choosing the color of our new living room or deciding on a vacation destination, Martha's opinion was paramount. I felt like an outsider in my marriage, constantly overshadowed by her influence. My attempts to address the issue were met with resistance from both Jeffrey and Martha. They couldn't understand why I was bothered by their close bond. They saw it as a sign of love and devotion, whereas I saw it as an unhealthy obsession that was slowly tearing us apart. Jeff, are we still going on that trip to Italy, right? It is our honeymoon. Yes, we are. Don't worry. I'll be booking the tickets soon. Your mother is not in immediate danger, right? No, not. She'll be fine. I took her to the doctor the other day. She's pretty stable. I think she'll be fine. It soon became clear that Martha held an intense dislike for me, and she didn't hesitate to manipulate her son in an attempt to drive a wedge between us. At first, I brushed off Martha's behavior as typical mother-in-law quirks, thinking that with time things would improve. But as the months went by, her actions became more calculated and hurtful. She would call Jeffrey and subtly undermine me, making disparaging comments about my character and constantly question my ability to be a good wife. Her disapproval loomed over our marriage like a dark cloud. It was heartbreaking to witness how easily Martha could sway Jeffrey's opinion and emotions. She knew how to play on his vulnerabilities, using guilt and manipulation to cast doubt on our relationship. It seemed as though every time we had a disagreement or faced a challenge, she was right there, whispering poisonous words in his ear, planting seeds of doubt and dissatisfaction. Martha's tactics created a toxic environment that left me feeling isolated and helpless. I desperately tried to maintain my composure and remain strong for the sake of our marriage. But her relentless campaign against me took a toll on my emotional well-being. I constantly questioned my self-worth and wondered if I would ever be enough to overcome her influence. There is one time she called Jeffrey's phone and I picked it up because he was in the bathroom, and it was my golden chance to confront her. Yes, this is me, Jeffrey's wife. Oh, the one who took my son away. Why do you have his phone? Look, I don't want to cause any trouble. I'm just here to know if my son talks about me to you. Oh, yes, he does. You manipulated him to stay with you. He comes to me seldom nowadays, all because of you. I always told my son not to fall for girls like you, but you bewitched him by showing him your property and money and looks. Look, I said no such thing to him. He was the one who wanted to stay with me. I discussed it with him. That is not what we decided on. I love your son. Please try to understand I always ask him about you. Martha cut the call. She made a scoffing noise of disgust. I realized this was going nowhere. Our Italy trip didn't happen. My job made other plans. We were told to go on a small business-related trip to Korea. One of our marketing agencies wanted to collaborate with their brand. I had to go. I apologized to Jeff a lot, but he was strangely okay with it. He just told me to have fun and call him from time to time. I was feeling so low about our trip getting cancelled, but he didn't seem to feel anything at all. Is he really okay with it, or is he suppressing his actual emotions? I told him I would be back in a month. The day I left, my parents were there, but strangely, Jeffrey wasn't. When I called him, he apologized and said that he took his mother to the hospital for an emergency. He felt bad for not being there. I didn't say anything much to that. The Korean trip was wonderful and everything seemed pretty well. I managed to video call Jeffrey, but he was always in a rush. At first, I didn't think much of it. I thought maybe he was busy or something. But when I called my parents, I got to know a different story. Yeah, he's been here, but he hardly talks to us. He shifted permanently here after you were gone. He does not spend much time with us, just a simple hellos and highs. I see. Anything else? What is he doing and all? Well, no, he always seems to be in his room and doing work or talking late at night with someone. Maybe his mom? I don't know. Okay, is he going to the office? Well, he does go somewhere and comes back home during dinner time. He has brought some kind of stuff with him, like some game stuff, a stereo, a camera stand, all that. Oh, okay, well, all right, I'll try to talk to him again. Thanks, Mom. Take care. Things were getting quite complicated. Suddenly, one day, a few weeks before my flight back to Cali, I got a phone call from my mom. She was devastated and crying profusely. I was baffled by whatever happened, so I calmly told her to explain what happened. She said that Jeffrey brought his mother to our place and locked them outside the house. They went for dinner, just the two of them. Jeffrey took that opportunity to seize them. They took shelter in a motel just for the night. I was furious, disgusted, and felt like a ticking time bomb. My heart was beating so fast I was scared it would explode. I knew this man needed a lesson. I had some neighbors who loved my parents. They would do anything for them. Cops were called, but they thought this was a silly case and that I needed to be present to take action. I took an instant flight home. By instant, I meant it took me 2 days to get a ticket. By the time I reached, it was midnight. That fool didn't know I had a spare key with me at all times. I called a few of my neighbors and they were purely shocked at how my parents didn't go to them for help. I and a few others marched towards the house. I unlocked my house and there he was. Jeffrey was watching TV with his mother, laughing. I freaking went and held him by the collar and started thrashing him, even pulling some of his hair out. My neighbor took the helm by seizing his mother. I never felt this amazing hitting someone, and he deserved every ounce of it. But babe, look, I can explain. My mother was ill and I was scared she would die. Your parents were against it. You are a piece of filth. How dare you throw my family out of my house? And you thought you would get away with it? How freaking dare you? You mother my foot. I don't give any shit about her. You deserve every bit of this fist of mine, you absolute filthy scumbag. But wouldn't you have done this for your mother? Never. I'm not like you. My neighbors would have probably killed him if I didn't control my temper. The police were called and they were taken for further investigation. Meanwhile, I threw and burned all his property, his gaming console, his posters, everything. That piece of filth deserved no sympathy. The police reported that he snuck in his mother and let her stay in our bedroom. He was supplying everything to her secretly. After that, I signed a divorce claiming that he should give me and my parents a percentage of the amount every month as punishment for invading and taking over my property. I demanded he go back with his mother to Sacramento. He was no longer welcome here. I don't care about his financial security anymore. He was a liar and a disgusting human being. I installed surveillance cameras everywhere and strengthened the security so that there is no way he can do anything fishy. Well, ever since that, I made sure whoever I meet gave me full clarity about themselves before I planned to go ahead with it any further. I even changed my job and got myself a work-from-home job. So that's good. I can keep an eye on everything until things settle down a bit. My family is fine now and we are doing okay. We're happy for the time being and I learned a big lesson. Hello, my friends. I'm Natalie and I live in LA with my husband. I have a daughter who's 26. She recently got married, but it was a total drama. I'm just glad she could finally settle well. Victor, her husband, is a nice guy, and I'm sure he'll keep her well. I had an ex-husband who works in a corporate office. I was already working at a local pharmacy when he got that job. He was always this very nonchalant kind of guy. He was like the typical man, and I was like the typical woman. We fell in love like idiots and then got married. Our marriage became more and more mundane as days went by. He would often go to work early in the morning, come back, have small talk, then go to sleep. I don't understand why people like this want to get married in the first place. There wasn't any in-between in our relationship. Everything was extreme. Either he would love to bomb me with parties and gifts, or he would give me a cold shoulder for the rest of the day. I was expecting a typical love marriage that starts fresh and wanes as you get used to it, but I didn't expect the intensity. When Robert and I tried for a baby, I was having lots of complications. It ended up in miscarriage twice. When we showed the doctor, he said that Robert had an untreated problem that his parents neglected. That turned him sterile. I was not hurt, but Robert couldn't take this information. He thought that the doctor stripped his manhood right in front of his wife. He left the clinic angrily. When I reached home, I saw he wasn't there. He came late at night. "Where the hell were you?" "I was with James and Kobe." "And why exactly? 'Cause you were mad at what the doctor said? Are you a child, Robert?" "Don't bring that shit up. I don't care what he says. We will keep trying, okay?" "Are you insane? I had gone through enough pain. I can't go through this again, please." "Then what the heck do you ask from me, woman?" "I'm requesting you to think of other possibilities. We can always IVF or adopt. There's a beautiful orphanage place around this area. I saw it while going out for a walk. We can go together." "Do you even hear yourself? You want someone else's sperm inside you? The baby might not even look like me, and speaking of orphanage, I don't want someone else's child as mine. We don't even know how they would end up. That is utter nonsense. Rather, I say, let's take a break and try again." How pathetic. "And you took a vow for me? You are hilarious. When you said you loved me, you probably lied on my face. You know what? You are sleeping on the couch tonight." I shut the conversation and went up to our room and slammed the door. I can't believe Robert had such a poor way of thinking. When we first met, he never really showed this part of him. If he did, I would have thought otherwise. I always believed that marriage was supposed to bring happiness and fulfillment, but my own experience with Robert shattered those expectations. We were then married for 3 years, and despite the odds we shared, a dark cloud always hung over our relationship. The pain of infertility had become an insurmountable barrier between us, casting a shadow on our dreams of starting a family together. Robert was still hell-bent on not adopting or getting an IVF. This gradually eroded my happiness. I yearned for the joy of motherhood, the laughter of children echoing through our home. "Are you going on another trip? Didn't you say this was your last?" "I need to clear my head, dear. Why don't you go to your mother's too for a while? Maybe a woman-woman talk might help you think rationally. Plus, you need a break from all this." And where are you going this time?" "Plan for the Maldives. A friend of my close colleague has a nice hotel and invited him and his friends to visit. So I booked a ticket. I hit the jackpot in this one. He said he would pay for everything. All I needed to do was spend on the extras that were not under the hotel's vigilance." "I see. Well, did you ever consider that your wife might need a freaking trip too?" Robert glanced at me slightly. His fork came to a halt. His eyes sharply observed the table. "Where's the salt? The pasta isn't salted. Can you give me some?" Robert? Oh, just shut up. The problem is with me, okay? I'm in much more pain than you. Why do you keep whining in my ears like a spoiled 6-year-old? Oh, how mature of you, Robert. How freaking mature. Do you even see me? What am I going through? I at least try to tend to your needs and everything else. I have given my all. What are you giving me? Robert gave me a death stare. He just took his plate and went to the couch to watch some TV. I sat there silently contemplating my future with a man who gives no shit about my feelings. My friend Lola had always been my constant support in times of such circumstances. She came to visit me when Robert was out for work. I'm so happy you took a day off today. This was a definite must. Yeah, I guess. So, how's everything with Robert? I sighed. I didn't know what else to say. I felt like I always dragged her into my mess. Natalie, you've seemed distant lately. Is everything okay between you and Robert? It's been hard, Lola. Ever since Robert found out he's sterile, he's become emotionally distant. It's like he's lost his sense of self and shut me out. Lola places a comforting hand on my shoulder. I can only imagine how difficult this must have been for both of you. Infertility can take a toll on even the strongest of relationships. Have you talked to him about how you feel? I've tried, but he shuts down whenever I bring it up. He's built this wall around himself, and I don't know how to break through it. Lola's eyes convey empathy as she offers her perspective. Natalie, it's important to remember that Robert is going through his grief and feelings of inadequacy. Perhaps he needs some time to process his emotions. But that doesn't mean you have to face this alone. I just miss the connection we used to have. We were always there for each other, and now it feels like he's slipping away. You're right to feel that way, Natalie, but sometimes people need a reminder of the love and support they have. Have you considered seeking couples therapy? A safe space to express your concerns might help bridge the gap between you both. I never thought about that. Maybe therapy could provide the space we need to heal together. Thank you, Lola. I needed this perspective. When I confronted Robert about this discussion, he got more agitated and angrier at me. He hated the fact that I shared our problems with Lola. So, now I'm becoming one of your gossips, right, hon? Baby, you're getting me wrong. I just wanted to vent out, that's all. And you know Lola is a nice girl. She would never make a big deal about it. Well, talking about my vulnerabilities to other people was not funny, Natalie. You know how I feel about that, don't you? And still, you made it a thing in front of your best friend. Okay, Robert, I apologize, but can you please not yell at me like that? I was really worried about you, and I just wanted to help. I love you. If you did, you wouldn't have done this. He didn't have dinner that day. He just went off to sleep. A few days later, he was getting ready for his trip when he called me in and told me that his mom was unwell and that I needed to take care of her. We had 2 bedrooms. He wanted to share the guest one with his mom. I was not upset about it. I just told him that it would be difficult for me to do everything since I had a job too. Well, keep a nanny then. That would be an extra cost, you know that. Then who will take care of my mother? Just don't worry about the money, Natalie. I will provide it too. But that never really happened. Robert was to be shifted to a new office in New York. He said he would call me and visit me now and then, but I could feel like our marriage was getting over. I wanted to spend a proper date with him that night. I took him out for dinner and had great food. We had fun, as one would normally do, but we also felt strained. After a few days, he left me. His mother started living with me. She was really old, but had one heck of an attitude. She was giving the nanny a hard time. Sometimes she would not eat. Sometimes when she did eat, she pretended to be sick. There were so many false scares that I had to take care of. I was getting tired of this. I wanted a break, like a real one. So I decided to go clubbing. That's where I met Louis. I never thought I would find myself caught in the web of an extramarital affair, but life has a way of surprising us with its twists and turns. It was a breezy evening when I first met Louis. We were both attending the same club, and from the moment our eyes met, an inexplicable connection sparked between us. He possessed a magnetism that drew me in, and as the night progressed, our conversations became deeper and more intimate. I found solace in Louis's presence, a refuge from the mundane routine of my married life with Robert. Our conversations were filled with shared dreams, hopes, and a level of understanding I had never experienced before. Louis made me feel seen, desired, and alive in a way that had long been absent from my marriage. Why are you still with him? You are stunning, Natalie, and you deserve someone who knows how to adore that personality. Your husband sounds like a total douchebag. No offense. I don't know. Maybe it's because I love him a lot, or maybe I think I still love him. I mean, understand that he is going through a lot, but he should know he's not going through this alone. I'm here, and I have never for once forced him into anything. He doesn't like the sound of IVF or adoption, but I don't get it. What's so wrong with seeking a different alternative? Damn, his personality screams insecure. Well, some guys just don't like considering their partners as equals. You tell me, when was the last time he made any effort for you? Like you told me he goes on frequent trips, right? Did he ever invite you to any one of them? Well, see, that says a lot, Natalie. I'm not here to encourage you to leave him. I am here to tell you that maybe it's time you stop fighting for something that is not worth it. If I were in your place, I would ditch him then and there. It's not as simple as you think, Louis. His mother is involved now. I have to take care of her. Oh, I hate this. Why me? Hey, you were in a club, right? Just have fun as long as you're here. Don't worry about it. I want us to have a good time, and guess what? I have the perfect idea. I have my car. Let's go for a midnight drive. Like, really? Are you sure? Yeah, your nanny's taking care of your mom, so you don't have a curfew. You can come along with me, and we will have some disgusting fast food, lie under the stars, and talk. Sounds good? Cute. I don't mind at all. As time went on, our encounters became more frequent, our stolen moments filled with giggles and whispered confessions. The affair became a dangerous dance, a delicate balance between the guilt that gnawed at my conscience and the intoxicating allure of forbidden love. The clandestine nature of our relationship only added to its allure. We met in secret locations, hidden away from prying eyes, and each encounter left me craving more. The guilt weighed heavily on me. Yet I was unable to resist the magnetic pull that drew me closer to Louis. But as the days turned into weeks, the realization of the consequences began to sink in, especially when Robert video called me. The guilt I carried like a heavy burden started to seep into every aspect of my life. I saw the pain in Robert's eyes, the growing distance between us, and the erosion of the trust we had once held so dear. I wanted to confront him about it, and I want to put an end to this. I was ready to tell him that I want us to remain friends, nothing more. But the moment I entered his apartment, I was in awe. He looked like such a gentleman, smelling of light fragrance, hair pushed back. I swooned to his charm. He welcomed me with a warm smile. We were talking and having a few drinks along with it. I don't know how or when, but I ended up kissing him, and that was it. I ended up in a disaster. I completely cut off Louis after that night. He called me multiple times, but I didn't have the nerve to face him. One day when I was leaving for work, Louis was waiting right outside my house. He stood in front of me, blocking my way. Please, Natalie, I'm sorry, I got carried away, and I know what a big mistake I made. I swear it was not my intention. I thought we were having a nice night. It was not your fault. I was the one who kissed you. I am the one with no self-control. Hey, look, I didn't mind, okay? I understand all that you're going through. You know nothing about me. Don't even try. Nat, I had the most amazing night with you. I am not able to forget it. Be with me. I can keep you happier. Maybe I don't earn like Robert, but I can certainly keep you content. That man doesn't deserve you. I'm still married, Louis. Please don't ask for something I can't give you. And please don't meddle with my matters. Let's forget this ever happened. I broke his heart that day. I pushed away the man who could have probably saved me. But well, I knew that was not the time. 2 weeks later, I took a pregnancy test and found out I was pregnant. I was happy and shattered at the same time. I knew for a fact this was Louis's child. If Robert ever found out, he would. I shuddered at the thought. I told myself I would keep it a secret. When Robert came, he was shocked beyond imagination. He kissed me and hugged me and spun me around. He kept saying it was a miracle. He had a massive gender reveal party. I didn't know what else to feel. Louis tried to talk to me a lot through calls, but I kept avoiding him. You did what, girl? Please tell me you're joking. When did this happen? It's a long story, Lola, and I'm sorry, I don't know what else to do. Robert has no clue about this? Not even the nanny? No, just you. I don't have the nerve to say anything to anyone. What about Louis? Should I tell him? I can if you want me to. Would that be a good idea? Depends on if you like him, but I would advise you just go on with whatever is happening. Don't overthink. There is always a right time for everything. For now, keep it a secret. Years go by. Our daughter grows up unaware of everything. She has always known Robert to be her father. Robert doesn't change much. He was just getting older. His personality was still the same. He would only talk to Josie and sometimes make fun of me in front of her. Every time I told him why he does that, he kept saying it was harmless. He created an invisible wall between us. The weight of my secret had been growing heavier with each passing day, suffocating me under its immense burden. It was a secret that had eaten away at my conscience as I watched Robert interacting with Josie. I had hoped against hope that my indiscretion would remain hidden forever, sparing us all from the unimaginable pain that would follow. As further years went by, the facade I had carefully constructed was crumbling before my eyes, and I knew that the time for secrets had come to an end. We were planning on Josie's marriage. How time flies. They were sitting in the living room. I entered and told Josie to excuse us. Maybe because I was shaking a lot. Josie left immediately. What is it, hon? Something wrong? Well, if you have nothing to say, there are a few things I need to discuss. First of all, my salary has been cut to... Voice fades in Natalie's head. Jesus, did you even hear what I said? My money has been cut down. We need to save up. How much do you have in your bank? Also, my mother's allowances. Can you please shut up? I have something to tell you. With a heavy heart and trembling hands, I confessed the truth to Robert, laying bare the web of lies that had ensnared us both. The anguish in his eyes mirrored the pain that now consumed me. The man who had never loved and supported me had been betrayed most unforgivably. I forced myself to forget Louis, but I know deep down I loved him. He wrote me an email every year asking how I was doing. All I could say to him was, forget me. I feel like this was unfair to Louis. You did what? You heard it. I don't want to repeat it. You are telling me that Josie isn't my daughter? No, she isn't. Then whose daughter is she? Which brat did you sleep with, huh? Tell me. and that is none of your business." Robert stood up, violently shaking the objects on the table. Josie heard the sound and came running. She was startled at the sudden shift of tension. "What on earth? Why are you two fighting?" "Why don't you ask your filthy mother who is your real father?" "Come on, Natalie, tell your beloved daughter who you slept with years ago." "Josie, please. I will explain everything later." "No, you will explain everything sentence by sentence, and I want her to witness what a filthy mother you are." "Dad, please. Stop saying things to her like that. I want things to be settled, at peace. I'm getting extremely confused and stressed right now." "First tell me, why did you do this? Why did you cheat on me?" "You were a shitty husband to me. All those years you were nothing but a self-righteous, arrogant, unsupportive, egoistic, and unsympathetic man. All you did was protect your pride. But look where that ended up. You know what? I don't regret a single thing I did. He was twice the man you could ever be." Robert was so enraged, he wanted to lunge at me. But the nanny and Josie both defended me. Ultimately, he left the house with a burst of anger. The next day, he sent an email writing that he won't fund anything for Josie's wedding, and he wouldn't want to be present. I was feeling extremely bad for Josie, but I knew that I have the willpower to make this a success. I couldn't hold it anymore. I contacted Louis. I told him everything. I made some simple arrangements. I knew how to give this man a lesson. After a week, I called Robert. "Why the hell are you calling me? I've already told you I am not." "Oh no, I just called you to say that I dismissed the nanny. Your mother is probably alone right now, and I have left with my stuff. So the house is freaking yours. Do whatever you want. I just don't give a damn." "Wait, what do you mean you left? And what about Mom's allowance?" "Not my headache anymore. She is a pathetic person anyway. Gave an extremely hard time to the nanny. Plus, all the bills and stuff will be paid by you from now onwards. I am not doing shit. All these years you freaking escaped your marriage and responsibilities. Now, let it come and bite you back." Wait a second, Natalie, honey, please. You know my expenses have gone down? I know. Just like I said, it is none of my business. Goodbye, Robert. I cut the call on his face. The tragic tale ends here. Louis and I met at a pub again, and it was so happy to see him. He was still the same, bubbly, cheery, and romantic. We both planned on Josie's wedding, and it was done at a fantastic location. Though the venue was small and compact, it was still warm and filled with people we genuinely loved. We had a joyous celebration with food, music, dance, and a lot of jumping around. Robert kept calling me. This time, when I cut the call, I felt no guilt whatsoever. I was with my daughter and the man that I love. The most beautiful part was I could reunite Josie with her true father, who walked down the aisle with her. I mean, I know I have a lot of explaining to do, but all that can wait for another time.